So we move on to the next session, which is all about relevant, and I would like to invite Dr. Ramurthy sir for his first talk and our expert panel, Dr. Purendra Bhasin sir, Dr. Sandeep Nagvekar, Dr. Giridhar sir, Dr. Minu Mathan, and Dr. Ratish Chandrapal. I'd like to call all of them on the first row.
Just before we start, just one. Can I have a mic also?
आप हो ना
You don't need a mic. Dr. Murli.
I want to take this opportunity when I'm with you all, that if I reached what I could, if I could reach what I could reach in this last 3 years, I need to remember friends who helped me along the way. And I invite Mr. Nikhil from Entoad Pharmaceuticals. Every single webinar of mine in the last 3 years was helped by him. It was actually a moment. I met him in some Shankar Netralaya meeting or somewhere, and that time I was just standing for elections. I just got to know him, and then the COVID started, and that's all. And I had already won this post. And then I just called him on phone. I said, I want to do 4 webinars in the month, and I'm told there has to be a sponsorship amount to be paid 2 years. Every webinar never was free. What came at a price. And so I had to do it well. So I was wanting, why is the light hitting on my face? So I just called him on phone. And after that, I would just send him the bills for the payment. There was not a single moment in those 3 years. The amount accrued to lakhs and lakhs of rupees. But Entoad Pharmaceutical understood the passion in me, understood the passion in my ARC team. All my ARC team have been amazing people, but we could have never realized this dream if not for Mr. Nikhil and his Vice President, Mr. Raman Marke. Mr. Raman, come here. I would call Raman as if he was part of my organization, bother the life out of him. And these people have been such major supports. I think we should all clap. Even the Pegasus, which as a leadership, all of you all went. It was a huge amount which I had to pay the Pegasus. Uninstinctively, they came forward and said, yes, whatever you say would be for a good cause. So I just wanted to recognize them at this point of moment. Thank you very much, Mr. Nikhil.
Yeah, thanks a lot. I think this has been a great experience for us. And I think Dr. Chitra ma'am has always been so passionate about kind of promoting the ophthalmic education, even during the difficult pandemic days when everything was closed. We were in touch almost every day about all of these things. And I think it's been a great journey for all of us to be part of this. So our support for the AIOS and for ARC will always be there. And it's a privilege to be part of this. Thank you so much. Thanks for everything.
You should also join.
Raman, yes. Thank you.
Thank you. Arti Paul sir, again, please come in the front.
Thank you very much, Mr. Nikhil.
Sir, please. Really sorry. So I'd like to now invite Dr. Ramurthy sir. He's the boss and the one person who would actually give this talk all the justice that we would ever want. And acquiring equipments is what he's going to enlighten us on. Over to you, sir.
After that roar of a lioness, this is going to be a fairly meek talk. But bringing you back to earth and what's relevant in running a practice, acquiring equipments, and I have been doing this for the last 3 decades or so. One of the primary choices that we face is, do I really need this equipment? Just because there is a adjacent practice which has this, which seems to be doing well, do I have to invest in this? And second factor that comes is, can I really afford it? I mean, is there going to, the cost of the equipment is going to justify for my own practice? And do I really need it? Once you have decided to purchase, there are two aspects that you need to look into and balance this. One is price and the quality. Obviously, we often say that you pay peanuts, you get monkeys. But at the same time, just because you are paying a bigger price, that doesn't mean you're going to get great quality. So essentially, you have to go with the experience of the peers, experience of others, what you hear in the market, to ensure that you're getting the right price and the right quality. And um, whenever I'm taking any equipment, whether it's an auto refractometer or a LASIK equipment, I always insist on having a demo. You can visit the trade booths here, have a look at the machine, the phaco machine. They show a flower under an operating microscope. It looks very bright and nice. But you want to see it actually performing in your cataract theater. And just in case it's a huge equipment like a LASIK, obviously it's not possible to get a demo. You can visit a center, maybe if it's a friendly doctor. You can even perform a few surgeries or observe the surgeon using it and talk to the users. Generally, the company people will give you 2 or 3 people, that key people to whom you can talk. I normally insist on getting the entire installation base, and I pick and choose who are the people whom I'm going to talk to. And obviously, if it's a well-known friend, a stable partner whom I know that he'll give me the right inputs, I would always have a significant discussion with them before deciding on the buying the equipment. And whenever I'm buying a certain equipment, I talk to the people who are directly competing with that particular company. Because if you want to get to know some negative aspects, what are the pitfalls in that particular equipment, the best people to get that information from is the competition. So it's not just you talk to the company which is selling the equipment, but also talk to the people who are competing with them. And no one has ever made a good decision based on bad information. So getting all this information to me is a primary requisite, especially if it's an expensive equipment that is involved. And again, the other aspect that I look at is that whether the backup is there. There are two aspects to this backup. One is the service backup, whether there is a localized person, whether in Coimbatore, Bangalore, or Chennai, there's a reliable service backup. And once the machine is down, how quickly they can get it back on rails. And another important factor is a technical backup. I believe whether it's a pentacam or whether it's a OCT, you're most often skimming just the surface and not utilizing the equipment to its fullest potential. I have learned more phacoemulsification from good technical advisors who have been in the theater with me rather than by attending any conference or listening to any of my peers. And I think that applies to all of you. Whatever presentations I make is most often the guidance that you get from people who really understand the equipment is extremely important. So I want to make sure that there is a team available to keep the machine functioning. And there is also a person available or a team available who understands the full potential of the equipment and who can teach me on this. And I make it a point to interact with both these set of people even before I decide to purchase this equipment. Of course, pricing of this equipment is extremely important. There's a significant negotiation that you have to get into it. But at the same time, don't squeeze the companies for giving you an extremely low price. We are all used to this on a day-to-day basis. The patient wants a multifocal toric intraocular lens with LRCS, but wants it at the lowest price, 70, 80,000. You just get irritated with them. Sometimes the company, because the company is there, they're desperate to sell, might give in to your demands and go ahead and give you the equipment. But I'm telling you, there will always be some compromise that's being made. Quality always comes at a right price, and as far as you think that the price you're getting is reasonably right, what is prevalent in the market, better accept it, because that will in the long run pay off by way of a greater relationship, greater support from the company itself. And then once you have established a good relationship with a dealer or a company, there's absolutely no harm in giving repeat orders. We have multiple centers. We are already, especially for some of the basic equipments, We have dealers with whom we have fixed the price. We actually tell them that this is the price I'm going to pay for the next 3 or 4 years. And it's just when you need a slit lamp, you need a chair unit, you need a laser equipment, all my maintenance person actually gives them a call and says that you deliver this equipment, because these are already tried and tested, and we are confident of its performance, confident of the support system that's prevalent, and that saves up a lot of time. And obviously you are able to go ahead and get what you need. Do I need to upgrade? Obviously, we started phaco emulsification nearly 25 years back. Every now and then, we are told repeatedly that the machine that you are having is outdated. Just 2-3 days back, I was in ASCRS. There's a special session that was held where I was exposed to a certain phaco machine. They said the current phaco machine, with which I'm absolutely happy, has so much of deficiencies, and this is going to be the way forward. You need to get this, you need to, yes, many factors. It was all scientific. It was not they're saying some nonsense. But is it really necessary for me to invest on such an equipment is something I need to constantly think. Having a multiple centers, I have the privilege in the sense that whenever there's a new equipment comes up, I move the existing one to a smaller center where the volume of work is less, and then subsequently go ahead and you install the new equipment in the center with a higher volume. But you are also capable of bargaining for an exchange. Usually, if you have to give away you are a single practice and you have to exchange to upgrade to a higher equipment, most often you get a good price. And it might also not essentially come from the supplier who has given you the primary equipment. You might get a much better price from the competition who essentially wants to displace them. Obviously, if you're convinced that what you are getting is much better, there's nothing wrong in talking to them. And whenever you upgrade this equipment, do consider that your taxes are also going to come down quite significantly. Do not be the last one to get a particular equipment. Do not jump into any technology just because it's available. Conductive keratoplasty is a classical example. We are told that you can't live without it. There are rows of people who are going to line up in front of your clinic to get this treatment done. Had a trial, it did not really work, and gave it back. So obviously, it's extremely important that you have to, especially if you're adapting new technology, it's extremely important to ensure that what you're getting is something which is effective, which is going to be serve you for a long time. It's not just the basic cost of the equipment that you look at, but look at the frequency and replacement of the vital parts. There have been ultrasound probes. We have multiple phaco machines. There are some probes which last for 3-4 years. There are some probes which need to be replaced every 6 months. Fiber optic cables for lasers. Again, there is so much of variability in that. There are certain companies where 3 or 4 years, large practices where they just work without a problem. Others where every 6 months you have to spend about 1.25 lakhs. I never knew it. I have a very high-end operating microscope. Every 6 to 8 months, I have to spend about 1.25 lakhs to replace the bulb. And they tell you 500 hours, no, this bulb will burst inside the equipment. We can't be sure about the warranty or the CMC that we are giving you. You have to replace. I make it a point that we use it at least for 800, 850 per hours. Having ended up with that equipment, I have no choice now to go ahead and adapt what the company tells me, but I make sure that I don't make the same mistake again. And again, bundling for equipments is nothing wrong with that. Obviously, this is a good way to go. Obviously, intraocular lenses, various other things we use on a daily basis. Almost every phaco equipment that I'm purchased is bought on a bundling basis. And I ensure that whatever be the price of the intraocular lens currently in the market, I do not add any extra price to that. And at the same time, I only commit to the numbers that I can use. For example, if my yearly consumption is 1,000 intraocular lenses, just to get the equipment inside, I'm not going to tell them that I'm going to use 1,500, 2,000, because it leads to a lot of harassment, a lot of misunderstanding. And that's when even when we were in the trade committee, etc., that's when a lot of problems came up, when the doctors could not keep up the commitment that they had promised. And most importantly, do not overcommit yourself, in the sense that if the cost of the equipment is about 25 lakhs, You may commit for intraocular lenses to the extent of about 75 lakhs or 1 crore, but not to 2 crores at that extent, right? Especially a novice, the trade might come and tell you, I'll place this equipment, give me for the next 5 years, give me a commitment for 600 lenses or 1,000 lenses each year. Obviously, they are overdoing it. Deferred payment options is also an excellent way to go by, especially in fledgling practice, where you earn from the equipment and pay off as you go along. And just make sure there's too much of an additional interest burden is not there, and it's only the basic equipment cost that's covered by the PDCs that you give. Let's remember, it's not always the trade which is dishonest. There are also doctors who are dishonest. So trust and respect has to come mutually. So that's something we always realize when we're dealing with our own doctor fraternity. So whatever word you give to them, you also have the responsibility to keep up and ensure that you are able to live up to it. And whenever I import equipments, it's not just with the smaller companies. The best of the brands, the multinationals, I have found that there have been older equipments which are coming. So I always insist on the date of manufacture. I want the triplicate copy of the bill of entry. Match the code word that is there in the equipment, which was exactly supplied to me. Mind you, very established trade people have played around with this, and there have also been court cases which have come up on this. So ensure that it's not a used equipment that's coming up. And you have to consider the life of the equipment and the return on investment. And I also classify equipments as basic technology. Indian technology, Indian manufacturers come up extremely well. There's a significant amount of Indian intraocular lenses that we use today with excellent outcomes. Slit lamp, chair unit, vision charts, keratometers, some basic phaco equipments. No thoughts at all, especially for a YAG laser. I think there are excellent Indian manufacturers who are giving it to you. But then there are certain other equipments as of now where the Indian technology has not caught up, where you need to count on importing these equipments and constantly look out for replacements which can be locally available. AMC and CMC, whatever equipment I purchase, at the time of the initial purchase itself, I ensure that I get a negotiated contract for 5 years. Because once the equipment is down in your place, you get a warranty for 1 year. From the second year, you basically have to go in because the equipment is already there in your premises. Whatever they say is what you have to pay. So there is a built-in contract for 5 years. From the 6th to 10th year also, I negotiate the price with a slight escalation. Before you purchase the equipment, you are the king. You have the negotiating power. Once it is inside your premises, they have the upper hand, and obviously you have to go down to whatever they ask for. Consumables like gas blades, requirement of AC. When you are purchasing a LASIK equipment, there are certain machines which do not require the AC to be running 24 hours. There are certain others which require extreme humidity, temperature conditions to be maintained. It's quite a strain, quite a recurrent expenditure, because if you have to keep it running for 24 hours. So if you can get equipments which are less demanding. Nowadays, I'm told that even if the OCT malfunctions, the company comes and tells me it's because the humidity and the temperature, especially in Cochin, and you have to keep the AC running all the time. Obviously, that's a significant additional cost. I do not want very fragile machines like that. Refurbished equipments backed up by factory warranty is a great way to go. And we are doing that quite constantly. They are available at almost half the price. And especially if you can get the 5 years of warranty built in with the equipment purchase, that would be a good way to go. Because most often what's happening is they just maintain the skin of the equipment. All the internal products, the internal things are changed. And quite often I've been able to get instruments at a very good cost, especially if you have a good relationship with the manufacturers. And when it comes up, they inform you and you can go ahead and utilize that. I think I have, as we all know, ophthalmologist is replete with equipments and instruments, and it's highly technology oriented. We can't live without them. Our progress entirely depends on them. I think for a successful practice, acquiring equipments at the right time, at the right cost, at the right place is extremely important. Thank you so much for your kind attention.
Thank you very much. I would want our expert panel to take a question or two before we start with the next talk. Dr. Purendra Singh.
Thank you. You said about the buyback of the equipment. You have your backup. You can send your equipment to other centers, but for other common persons over here, what do you say? What would you like to add to it? And whether we should give this equipment to the company from which you are buying, or to someone else?
Yeah.
Because nowadays a lot of people are doing a refurbished business, and they refurb and they said give this equipment at what is your say in that?
No, I think, let me take names because I mean, it can apply to any machines. Supposing you have an Infinity and now you want to buy a Legion or Centurion. And then, of course, if you have multiple centers, your friend who needs it, you can send the equipment which you want to replace to the other center. Otherwise, you can talk to the company itself and say that take back my Infinity. They will come up with an offer, usually very good offer, where they place a price on this and then replace the equipment. The other way to do this is, if you are equally comfortable with say a Signature Pro or a machine from some other manufacturer, you have tried and tested them out, just to get an entry into your place and to have their equipment in your center, they might be willing to bring down the price of the essential price. After you negotiate the price, say it's 25 lakhs or 30 lakhs, just because you are giving back this instrument which they're going to dump, they might give you a 5 lakhs or a 7 lakh reduction in the price. So this is two ways. Obviously, if you can't move it to a secondary center, this is a way you can use to replace your equipments.
Sir, you had mentioned about the timing of buying instruments. See,
Sorry?
Timing of buying newer ones,
Yes.
updated ones.
Yes.
See, sometimes they come and tell you that this will go out of service in 3 years. You better buy it now. But that will last for maybe 4, 5, 7 years more. But they won't tell you exactly. And then, without knowing, you are again very specifically said, without knowing how it is functioning with other people, do not buy it. But how early should you buy it, and how long should you delay in getting the confirmation of how it is functioning well, and about believing them on the next generation which is going to come and going to update on.
So every equipment which is newly supplied has to be serviced and maintained by law for a minimum period of 7 years. If after purchase of the equipment, after 3 years or 4 years, he says that I cannot any longer support this, is going out of service, you can take them to court. So they might say this just to instigate you to replace the equipment, but you have a right to demand that the equipment be maintained and replaced. And as I said, I already have negotiated a service contract. It's never a annual maintenance contract. It's a comprehensive maintenance contract where the parts are also taken care of. And the next 5 years also, there is a fixed price. And we ensure that the equipment works irrespective till such time as we want to use it. Of course, if it's 8 years, 10 years, beyond that, newer products have come up. Just like you would ditch a car, you might have to replace it. But I think they definitely need not be concerned that they will they will ask you to replace it within 3 or 4 years. The problem comes in when you're buying a refurbished equipment. That again, I buy it only when they give at least 5 years assurance, a written guarantee of that they will maintain and service the equipment. And the cost of this also built into the initial purchase of the equipment.
Sir, without any malice, sir, this refurbished thing which you said, a new ophthalmologist, how does he know that he is not being sold a refurbished machine, because they look so new, brand new, and they do it up so well? So you are a very experienced person. How would a new ophthalmologist come to know that they are not selling them a refurbished machine?
No, there are two things. One is, I mean, you intentionally buy a refurbished machine.
Yes, I'm not talking about that.
When you negotiate with the company, they're giving you at 2/3 the cost, half the cost, and you know it, and the parts are replaced. Otherwise, I showed you the slide also. Whenever an instrument lands in my place, I want it comes in a triplicate. You can ask for the third copy of the import of the equipment, and there are certain code numbers that are entered there. And you have to match that and with what is given in the instrument.
Import code
to
is very
make
important.
sure that what you are purchasing is what's essentially being exported from the company. It's unlikely, especially the major manufacturers at the company level, they are not going to sell you a used machine.
Correct.
But it's in case, and I'm telling you, it has happened even with some very well established multinationals. So it's always, I make it a point where it's a laser, LASIK or this thing to make sure that these numbers match.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Dr. Ramurthy. We shall now go on to our next speaker, Dr. Mohan Rajan, who is the chairman and the medical director of the Rajan Eye Care Group of Hospitals. I don't think he needs any introduction. And vibrancy is what we have to really watch him and know what vibrancy means. And he's going to talk on staying vibrant and creating work culture and the way to go. On to you.
Thank you, Dr. Chitra. Good morning, friends. Ramurthy, why are you leaving? Please. Stay for 3 minutes and go. Yeah, because I got something new for you.
He doesn't want to become over vibrant.
But after Chitra and Ramurthy, it's very difficult to talk because they've done wonderful justice to the talk.
Rajan, you want to become Rajni?
I don't know.
more than make up for his absence. And
Yes, no problem.
He wants to be
Stay
a woman.
vibrant. That's
He
important.
wants to be a woman, so you should be called
Yeah.
Rajni.
Stay vibrant, and that is the way. That's what Chitra wants me to talk in this. It's going to be a one-off talk. It's going to be. It's not a scientific talk. Vibrance is something which is, for all of us to understand. It's very important, especially when you are a leader of an organization, to be vibrant. It's full of energy, life, enthusiasm. You need to be that because you need to motivate. You have the motivation to become a super specialty eye hospital or a better ophthalmologist. But what is the motivation for the staff who are working under you? So you need to motivate them. That's what is. The work culture is another important thing. You need to have discipline, compassion, empathy, stress-free. Stress-free is very important because you need to make the work culture stress-free and stress-free environment for all the staff for them to perform at their optimum. If they are under stress, they'll make a lot of mistakes, and which is going to be detrimental for your patients. Keys to success, as you all know: vision, passion, courage, character, self-belief, competence, discipline. These are all the, what you call the pearls, I would say. My role models, you need to have role models for you to be vibrant. None other than my guru, Dr. Badrinath, as you know, Chairman Shankar Nethralaya, and of course my father, my late father, Professor of Ophthalmology, very vibrant personality at that point of time. And guess who is going to be the next? The epitome of vibrance, in my opinion. Give her a big hand. The epitome of, she's fully vibrant. She's always full of energy, full of life, full of this. Not only as a chairman ARC, but even if you go to our hospital, Life Foundation. So that's very important because the body language is very important. If you are like dull, you are, nobody will respect you, and no patients also will respect you. No staff will respect you. Am I right or not? You need to be good. You need to be like this. And Chitra Ramurthy is probably the epitome, I would say. Hats off to you, Chitra. Okay, how do you bring vibrance into this thing? Now we have the celebrity impact. Okay, if you have people like Rajinikanth coming into the system, it creates vibrancy into your system. Then again, Amitabh Bachchan coming into the system, coming into a hospital way back, Sunil Gavaskar, Sachin Tendulkar, Vijay Amartraj, who's a brand ambassador for our iBank, SP Balasubramanian, yes, music singer, maestro, Rahul Dravid, and of course the actor Sneha and so many other people. What they do is celebrity impact not only produces a celebrity impact for your social causes like iBank or a charity work, but also creates vibrance in your system. It's very important. When celebrities come and endorse you, that creates a vibrance, and that is why I stay vibrant because you connect to the celebrities. That's one of the ways wherein the vibrancy is there in the system as well as outside as well. Communication skills are very important. Connect, communicate. We are all used to the 3 C's: continuous, curvilinear, capsulorhexis. Now you connect, communicate, and consolidate. That's very important. Communication between you, seniors, colleagues, staff, patients, family members. The same body language has to go from the security to the receptionist, to the optometrist, to the junior doctor or the PG, and the technician, and of course the senior consultant. At the end of every surgery, I do something like this. You keep the patients staff happy in the operation theatre. Keep everything in a what you call lighter vein. Okay, everybody tells me, are you like this in the hospital as well? I am like the same. I'm same here. I'm same in the conferences. I'm same in the hospital as well. So I'm lighter vein. I cut a lot of jokes. Sense of humor is very important, because the sense of humor, you will be able to percolate to the bottommost level in your organization, in your system. So people will not be afraid to come and talk to you if they have a problem. This is very important. See what is happening after every surgery. After every surgery, I do this. Okay, give her a big hand. Okay, even if the patient does not cooperate, it will be moving around. But I give the patient, make the patient special. What is important is not only making this patient special, but also giving that vibrancy in the operation theatre to all the staff. Saying that, no, patient has cooperated very well, you all done very, very good job. Give a pat on the back, okay? And motivate them to do better and better. Motivating and upgrading work environment is something very important. Supporting and helping a staff in their needy times. It's something which is, you need to go beyond your profession, okay? Get into the personal life. They have personal life problems, family problems. You need to be there at that point of time for them, okay? As a leader of the organization, as an organization head, you need to do that, okay? And staff support and care, hospital's priority, other staff, ourselves, personal touch, information, and understanding a staff security level, as I told you, the same body language to the highest hierarchy. And that will motivate them, that will create the vibrancy in the entire system, which is for you. Your role towards your staff is listen attentively, have positive attitude, make a note whenever necessary, and serve with a smile always, be polite. Don't forget the small talk. If you be polite, the patients, the staff will be, the employees will be polite to the patients. If you have compassion, empathy for them, they will show the compassion, empathy for the patients, which is very important for us at the end of the day. And set a friendly talk. Okay, something which is very important, creating vibrancy. Go beyond your practice. Okay, something we, all of us, about 150 staff of us, we went to the Ponniyin Selvan 2 movie, and that on the first day of release. And we go for the IPL matches. Okay, these are all something, many people are surprised. How do you have time for this? You need to create time to stay vibrant. You need to create time to stay vibrant. It's a very, very important take-home message. Whenever they have a birthday or a wedding anniversary, we give some gifts for them. You see, one of our staff wedding, I just had a dance with them. Okay, this is again, what is important is, this vibrancy is important because that will take your hospital to a bigger height, and your practice also should become better. And patients also will understand that vibrancy. It's very important. The body language is very important. You need to talk, discuss, explain, make them aware of the importance of patient care. Only satisfied patients may refer another patients to your hospital. But one unsatisfied patient will spoil 6 to 7 patients. Okay? They will sit in the OP and they'll make sure that the other patients don't come to you. That's very important. Hence, staff-patient interaction and relationship is very important. Positive thinking. Always be positive. Even if there is a problem in the thing, you be positive. Because the positive thinking, the movement becomes a dance, the sound becomes the music, the smile becomes laughter, and the mind becomes meditation. The life itself becomes a celebration. Okay? And that is for all of you. Life is, you need to enjoy this life. It's something which is given by by God to us. The 4 mantras: consistent, well-directed, self-motivated effort. Okay? You need to create the self-motivation among all your staff. They have to be saying, yes, we have got a responsibility here. We need to stay vibrant. We need to be motivated. We need to show the compassion, empathy for the patients. So, J.R.D. Tata said, strive for perfection and you will reach excellence. That's what Chitra is doing as Chairman ARC. Hats off to you, Chitra. And so, my dear friends, go ahead and dream your dream. Be positive, think big, dream big. You will achieve your goal. Thank you very much for the wonderful opportunity.
Thank you, Dr. Mohan. I knew the right person for this talk. Dr. Purendra Bhasin, while he's talking staff motivation and other motivation, how do you address, how do you ensure that the staff attrition does not increase? What do you do for that?
I think he has already covered many things in it.
Yes.
And you have to be very empathetic towards your staff, and whenever they are in need. I think that is what is observed by rest of the staff. If anybody is in trouble, any kind of trouble, we have to help them. If say, your staff is having wedding of the daughter, you have to support them. You have to be with them. If any work is required, you give your staff, hospital staff for that work. Give your hospital vehicle, and all these things, small things. That is going to, which is observed by rest of the staff, and that culture
Absolutely.
is the reason why the attrition is going. It is going to be less. That is what I feel. Otherwise, just by monetary scale, but definitely that is important that you take care of that the monetary part also, financial. But all these things are the reason why they want to be with you, and they will not go at other places. Even they are giving higher packages because their insecurities are one thing which is very important. Which that security part should be given to the staff, that you are very secure over here, and your financial and rest of the security, health security, everything is being taken care by us.
I think
Thank you.
Purendra hit the nail on the head, because it's important, because it's patients, of course, they look at the monetary aspect, I'm sorry, the employees, but more important than that is the work environment. Okay, they want to have a stress-free work environment, and that is what you need to create. And that is the take-home message I want to give in this talk. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Do stay with us, Dr. Mohan. And we should hear, okay. Our next speaker is eminent Dr. Harsha Bhattacharya, who is the founder, medical director, and trustee of Sri Shankar Dev Nethralaya, Guwahati. We all know what a selfless worker he is. And he is going to talk on staying true to my values, what is possible and what is not, my view as an administrator. So the next 10 minutes, I'm sure he's going to come out with pearls of wisdom for all of us to get better.
Good morning and thank you for the opportunity. Now, I think all of you have read the very basic book of way of living, the Bhagavad Gita. That book says there is no external fight. Every moment, the fight which is going on, it is inside to do or not to do. Whatever the suggestion is given for to remain vibrant or women in ophthalmology, I think the constant fight has already started. Are you want to give value to the woman or not? To be vibrant or not? So there is the constant fight. To fight that value, what is important, we should have an inner value. And I'm not sure whatever my understanding and my value, it will be your any value or not. So with that introduction, I will start. Now, true to self means remain true to individual values. If you look into the science, the values are nothing but response to three individual challenges, universal challenges to human existence. Number one, need of the people as biological organism. Second is the agreement in social action. And third is survival and well-being of the group. The reference I have mentioned. The values are merely concepts that are different and vary from person to person, even community to community. Moreover, usually people do not consciously verify their core values until there is some challenges. Ideally, everyone may judge righteousness and rationality of their own values in reference to moral, ethical, and legal standard, and also in social and humanitarian perspective, considering the fact where the faith ends, the rationality begins. Two are in diverse pole. There is a word, Sanskrit word, there is called vivek. Now, it is a faculty to distinguish and classify things according to their real properties. If you look into the Vedanta, they said vivek denotes power of separating the truth from the untruth. Vivek emerges from two true core values of an individual. Now, how the value generates? The values are developed in early stage from the practice and beliefs of our own family and from the community. Values and beliefs can change as one transformed in the journey of life, interacts with the world, and expand. Coming to the type of values that have been described in the literature and scientifically proven, the value starts with the instrumental values, which gives the terminal values, which are goal-oriented. There are some professional values, professional core values, and organizational core values. Now, true to self is the guiding standard for decisions, which is justified on the basis of its possible impact on the personal core value. When a person has a value, it reflects in his thought and his feeling. And finally, it is manifested in the behavior. And with our behavior, we connect to the external world. So first step they require for an administrator is to consolidate his or her own values. Now, manifestations of values have come to that point. The structural forms of one's core value is the individual identity. Action in public and private life both are external manifestations of values. An administrator who does exactly what he preaches when says, believe me, people accept it considering to be genuine. So matching of inside, outside, thought, word, and action, this is the true to own value. If the faith or value is rational, it is called positive core value and it leads to success. But if it is negative, it will give rise to failure. This is true for any success story. Any success story, if you analyze, they believe in this principle. Now, what is the benefit while remaining true to self? The values create consistent personality, makes a person impartial, who can take correct decision and develop easy working environment. The net result is stress-free professional life. True to self helps in selection of career and facilitates success in profession because such an administrator usually joins an organization having similar core values only. It facilitates selection of employees with a similar mind for organizational success. An efficient administrator always expresses, this is who I am, this is how I intended to live my life, and this is real me. In my opinion, it is the fact of life and not a utopian concept. A cardinal administrative qualities that are required for a transparent identity and effective administration. There is a very important point to note. To become an administrator, whether I have that qualities or not, the subject knowledge, a clear understanding and adherence to core values and futuristic vision are prerogative as these are guardrails that prevent egregious error. Knowledge on principle of negotiation and compromise is the determinant of priorities which guide better decision making even in ambiguous situation. So we have to understand what is the principle of negotiation and compromise. The capacity for integrative analysis to verify structure, the third quality, strategy, process, and probable outcome of a decision, rejecting any urge for quick fix solution. The next property that is required for an administrator is true to self to know. The administrator should know true to self protects one against opportunism, which is a drain leading to the chaos and destruction. Adherence to own values appears an unimaginably hard and daunting task, but this is always a simple, better, and safer path. Lord Buddha said, no one saves us except ourselves. Now, something about ethics of negotiation and compromise. Any decision taken remaining true to self or under the moral, ethical, and legal standard of principles of negotiation and compromise Such a decision is correct because compromise is a conscious process and philosophy in which there is a degree of moral acknowledgement of values of the other party. On the contrary, any decision influenced by the policy of opportunism, the current world is the world of opportunity and profit. So, without due consideration of the unethical aspect of non-negotiation and compromise, where the intention is an interim solution of a problem and which is not in alignment with the core value of the administrator and the organization, is wrong. Now, what is the pragmatic justification of compromise and what is unethical about not compromising? This is an interesting point to know. The values can be compromised for attaining precise justice for a cause within the legal framework on the ground of reason with mutual respect, engagement, and sacrifice, and good faith values with the justified benefit of the institution and both parties. Compromise with core values under guidance of ethics of reciprocity, fellow feeling, and upholding of other ethical values is justified on humanistic ground. The other points on this context are compromise for humanity and fallibility, considering the fact that one may not be the only one who is morally, ethically, legally, and socially right, is also justified. But one situation, no one should compromise if the individual integrity gets diluted. Now, yesterday the integrity was defined by our chief guest in the inaugural meeting. Integrity means is a pure form of honesty. So, the path forward before an administrator to take a decision on the basis of wisdom of values and on the basis of wisdom of principle of negotiation and compromise. But why the two opposing things meets at one point? Now, what is the tapestry of true to self, values, and compromise? When core values are true, both truthfulness and compromise have same meaning. For an administrator, the secret of success lies on truthfulness to core values on the foundation of honesty and courage, and compromise the dividing a cake in such a manner that everyone gets justice and feels like a winner. It requires wisdom. The choice of staying true to self is up to extremely only arises when one is clear about one's core values and their righteousness, avoiding opportunism, which has a pejorative connotation and is the cause of intellectual cliff, dilemma, and confusion. For any decision, an administrator should either remain true to self or follow the guiding principle of negotiation and compromise. Life-changing magic lesson for an administrator: not to be popular in social media, but try to become a person of success, but rather than become a person of value. The mindset is everything. Story of an administrator is it is not whether you are knocked down, it is whether you get up. So staying true to my values, what is possible and what is not. It is an individual choice. They showed it possible. What they preached, they did it. How much possible it is to remain true to one's own value is an individual choice. Again, it is determined by own core values. So in this world of uncertainty, we do not see things as they are. We see things as the value we have. Well-defined core values, remaining true to them, eliminates clouding of mind and always guides for belief, for better decision, making everyone ambiguous, even in ambiguous situation. No decision can be great, even staying true to self, when humanity is compromised and wisdom ignored. Thank you all.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Asha. While he's there with us, I want to ask the expert panel, how to ensure that there is no money swindling occurring in the different levels? How to ensure that the moral values, all of which she was talking about, is sustained in your team? How do you go forward on that? Anybody on the expert panel?
Basically, as all speakers have said so far, basically, you need to set an example of yourself to others. people should understand the core values that you stand for. As Dr. Harsha also said very elaborately, you have to be true to your inner self. Once the organization sees that this person stands for integrity, honesty, I think most of it rubs onto others. But as you said, you cannot ignore these little fallacies that might come up from time to time. I do know that these things happen in all levels of organization, small or big. And sometimes there is a little bit of theft money that happens, and sometimes we have to ignore it also. But I think if you have a close watch on all the systems that are going on, we have to basically devote time to our practices for analyzing the work that is happening, for looking at the revenues that are coming in. I think we should be able to find that out. Yeah.
Dr. Harsh, you could sit here. Dr. RDR, I'm going to ask you. There is money swindling possibilities to happen in the opticals, in the pharmacy, maybe even in the theater, in the stores and all that. And you are having chains of hospital. So what are the ways you keep checks to happen? Besides all the entries being made on the EMR and all the cross checks which are done, there must be, how do you prevent it? What would be your advice? Which are the gray areas which we need to look into?
So one is, having transparent systems. If the whole system is very transparent, for example, every service has to be billed before it is delivered.
Yes.
That's very important.
Yeah.
Second, following it up with some kind of technology, because we are in the era of, EMR.
Yeah.
If it is billed, even any investigation can be entered or data can be entered. Some kind of a check, you also can bring that will help. Third is a kind of a monitoring.
You have to be louder.
Kind of a monitoring to understand, if there is anything, there is any deviation, whatever minor, you have to really go into the depth and see. Even for example, there was when Shreyas was presenting, he was saying that number of cases were cancelled.
Yeah.
Why they were cancelled? If there is a cancellation, involves a refund.
Yeah.
Where the refund has gone.
Yeah.
So all of that people have to really see, and is there an evidence for that? And someone must be there. One person must be accountable for documenting all of that. There must be another person who has to independently check that. The last also, when you have this data, especially people can cheat when there is a refund of a money where the service must have been delivered, or may not have been delivered, but they have to give back the money. Whether it has reached the patient or not can be also be done through some kind of a feedback or call center system. I think you need to have, while we need to stress on values as
Dr.
Harsha Bhattacharya mentioned, I think we also have to equally work on the systems and also finding the appropriate individuals. I think but it is always a challenge. People always will find a way to cheat the system, but we have to stay alert to that. It's an ongoing problem. So no institution can be free of that.
Dr. Ratish, you want to add anything?
About the compromise and in your life, and to what extent should we compromise in terms of with our staff?
Probably instead of that, I'll use the word balancing. So balancing the values is very important. Compromise is one way to express that. Values have to be balanced. There is nothing like a right or wrong. It's all based on the context.
Yes, Dr. Harsha?
Now, the point is that I have given a guideline how to take a decision, up to which extent compromise. You have to take the call on the basis of humanity. Now, we have to understand why the person has done the wrong. The person is repenting for his wrongdoing, and then you observe, give a chance. You keep him monitoring what the person is doing. Some of the people will not get rectified. I think every one of us experienced to it. For them, for the greater interest of the other people who are serving in organization, and for the organization's sake, we have to take action as per the legal standard of the country or land, legal standard of the law. Now you see, the morality and ethics both are not measurable entity. The measurable entity is the legal standard, we're following it or not. So after giving the chance, if the patient do not rectify, that time you have to take action on it as per the legal norms. If the legal battle the wins, we have to again reinstate the person, keep the under monitoring. And if the person fails, then the court will give the justice, because at that time we'll put the matter out of the administration of the hospital to the system of the country. So up to that extent, we can compromise.
As far as possible, we would like to refrain away from the
Legal
crisis
battle,
and
yes.
legal battle, because a lot of issues are
Yeah.
involved in
Yeah.
recruitment,
Yes.
and name and fame of the organization is also
Yes. Yeah.
involved. And but definitely looking into that part, that the person can go from that direction, to do it without that. What I personally think.
You have to be louder. Please change the mic. Yeah.
This also, yeah. No, yeah, I mean, it's whenever there's an issue on hand, like a cheating or whatever has happened, it's always better to amicably settle it. So instead of going into the legal agencies, it's not always not very preferable, because you don't get because both the parties will be harassed. It's always easier to kind of, sometimes as he was mentioning, we may have to forego, and that's where the systems become very important. It has to be ongoing. Trust should be there, but systems also should be equally important. Yeah.
That's the point I have told, that he should be given at least one chance.
Yeah, I think that is.
Thank you.
Sir, will any amount of holistic talks or motivational talks within the hospital help change these people or their
No.
See, I mean, one is, whatever the whole system has to reflect the values of the organization. Second is, it's always, it's good to send these people, like we all come for this 4-5 days meeting, even a spiritual retreat. If you have your people going for some spiritual retreats for a week or 10 days, that also change their mindset about life. People make mistake only because of their belief or their perspective about life. But when they go for a spiritual retreat, the recent years, at least about 600 of our people have gone for the spiritual retreat and spent about a week, where everything is paid by the hospital.
Wow.
So we also encourage the family members also go along with them. So it's really a life-changing experience for the people in the mid-level. So, and you also have them really aligned to the patient care. So
Thank you.